Hello everybody, this is Niclas Huschenbeth and today I would like to show you the final game of the US Chess Championship 2018 between Sam Shankland and Awonder Liang. And why do I want to show you this game? Because this game made Samuel Shankland the 2018 US Chess Champion, and I think it was also the best game he played in the whole championship, so I want to take a chance and share this game with you. So let's go over to this scene. And before we begin, the comment of the day is by Alex, and he's pretty much saying, I like it that you're not only analyzing games of 2700 plus players, but also level below, because there's often more we can learn from that. And that's a really good point, I think. And I want to ask you guys what you think, if you also want to see more games analyzed from amateur players or maybe players a little bit lower than 2700 for sure. Yeah, so you can comment about that. And before we begin with the game, also I want to show you a picture of the two players here right after the game had finished. Sam Shankland on the left, showing the Sam fist and celebrating his win, and Awonder Liang on the right. So let's begin with the game. Shankland with the white pieces. Start out with e4, c6, d4. It's a Caro-Kann, and here the exchange variation, I believe it's called, bishop d3. It's more a quiet approach against the Caro-Kann positional approach, and we have the famous Carlsbad structure with white having 4 pawns here on the queen side and black having the possible majority on the king side. What's often a theme here is that black will at some point advance his pawns to attack these pawns here of white, called the minority attack. And there's a lot of subtleties in this opening the structure, and the structure can arise in a lot of different openings, so it's good to know for sure. Alright, so let's see what happened here. Knight f6, bishop f4, and now bishop g4. This is a very typical move. Black wants to go e6, but he doesn't want to have his bishop stuck within the own pawn chain, so he brings the bishop out first, attacks the queen, queen b3, and here Liang plays an unusual move. The two main moves are queen c8 and queen d7, but he goes e5. It's a very direct approach, but Shankland was well prepared, and that's one of his trademark strengths. He was actually also second of Magnus Carlsen, and he had prepared here h3, which is a very unpleasant move for black to face, because he has to enter some complications, and Liang did not know how to respond here, and he took on f4, which is an inaccuracy. The best move is knight a5. If now check, black can come back with the bishop, and after queen c2, now e takes f4, h takes g4, knight takes g4, and the position is quite unclear. There are different ideas, queen e2 check, king f1. White definitely has compensation for the pawn, and also I think uncomfortable for black if you don't know the lines. Anyway, let's see a game. E takes f4, h takes g4, queen e7 check, and now simply king f1. The king steps to the side. King feels pretty safe here on f1, and also at some point the rook can come to e1 and attack the queen. Long castle, knight to d2. Now Liang played g6 to develop his bishop. Rook e1 hits the queen, queen drops to c7, and now g5. Attacking the knight on f6, the knight goes to h5, and bishop e2, the knight is further harassed. Of course, you cannot allow white to take on h5, winning a pawn and destroying the black pawn structure, so black goes knight g7, and knight f3, knight e6, and bishop comes out again to b5. So what can we say about the position in general? The white pawn structure is better. He has a more cohesive structure, and black has several weaknesses. For example, pawn on d5 cannot be protected by another pawn. Also the pawn on f4 is pretty exposed, and white has the half open h file where he puts pressure on the pawn on h7, and also is controlling or is having the only rook on the open e file. So all these things are in white's advantage. The king on f1 is fairly safe, so everything works out here pretty well for white, and he's doing quite fine. Bishop g7, queen to a4, Now, either in this move or one move later, black should have gone a6. He went rook d6 now. Probably a6 was the best move, and then could go takes, takes, the queens come off. Now black would like to go c5, so white goes b4, stopping that, and still in the endgame white has a nice advantage, but this was black's best chance. Instead, Liang went for rook d6, now knight b3, the knight might come to c5, or as we'll see in the game, the knight will be transferred to go to e5. And here, after the next move, black's position is lost actually already. Liang went b6, and strange that such a small move can change so much, but suddenly everything in the black position is just much weaker. The knight on c6, also the squares here on a6, and black is not able to recover from that. He absolutely needed to go a6 here, and once again, okay, white can take on c6, and then can also think about knight c1, knight d3, or knight d5 immediately. White always keeps an edge, but this is still a lot to play for sure. Long fight ahead. So b6, also knight e5 now immediately was possible, and along the way now there are always many ways for white to play, but I like what Shankland did here, bringing the knight to e5. Knight c1, knight b8, knight d3. Okay, knight can come to e5, but also he can come to b4, and there are also certain ideas, maybe bishop a6, knight a6, the knight is targeting the weak pawn on d5, so it all works out quite well for white. And what is also important here, as we'll see now, is that black doesn't have any play. He doesn't have any counterplay, he's just making moves with the queen back and forth, whereas white can slowly improve his position. Queen b3, targeting the pawn once more, and already it's not clear how black is going to defend it, right? Because you cannot go back with the queen because of knight takes f7. So Liang decides to give up the pawn on h7, but of course this is not helping in any way. So let's see how this continues. Queen a4, provoking further weaknesses. The pawn was attacked on a6, so it has to go forward. Now the square on b5 becomes available for the bishop again, where the bishop is just very strong, covering these squares. King b7, knight b to d3, rook g8. Now position is completely winning for white. He has still all the advantages I talked about earlier, plus he's a pawn up already. But you still have to win it, and especially at this point, Shankland was also feeling maybe a little bit of pressure because he knew if he won, he would be US champion. So let's see how he did it. Rook h8, takes. Now a3, taking his time here, no need to rush. a3, preparing b4 in the future. Knight c6, takes, and now Shankland saw this possibility of exchanging some pieces and then coming in to e8, and now about to win another pawn on f7. And actually forgot to turn the engine, so let's do this now. And you see the white bar is already all the way up to the left. If knight d8 here, white can actually still take. That's a cute little tactic. The point is that the rook comes in and white wins the queen. So instead, Liang played rook d8, and now Shankland, here he could have also taken on f4, but he said, okay, let's take off the queens. I'm 2 pawns up in the endgame here, so why not play this? And this is a very good practical decision. In general, when you're up material, it often makes sense to exchange queens, because then any kind of counterplay chances for your opponent will just decrease by a lot, because there's no king attack really possible anymore. Of course, it's also possible in the endgame, but just less likely and more difficult to accomplish. So here f3 was played, knight f4, king to c6, now take, rook e6 check, and the king comes forward, and in this position Liang decided to resign. He's 2 pawns down, plus his knight is also out of play now on g1, and the pawn on d5 might also drop at some point. He doesn't have any counterplay chances, so this is completely lost, and this is why he resigned. Alright, so very nice, convincing win here by Shankland. And I chose this game also because this is where Sam really shines, opening preparation. Even though this was a sideline with e5, he still was prepared for it. He knew what to do, put immediate pressure on his opponent, and then really never gave Liang a chance in this game. He won the US Championship with an unbeaten +6 score. That means he won 6 games and drew the rest, which is just amazing. And more than that, he was actually better in both his games against Caruana, who finished second, and Nakamura, the top seeds of the tournament. So just a marvelous performance by Samuel Shankland. Congratulations at this point, and I hope you guys enjoyed the analysis. Let me know if you have any questions about the game, and I will catch you again very soon. Bye bye.